Welcome back to Comics with Drew. I'm Drew, and today is a review of, as you can see, Pirate Queen, all 4 issues. So I figured that it would probably be a good idea just to review the entire story all together and all the books together because there's only 4 of them, and it's a bad idea book. And quite frankly, Bad Idea has done some irritating things, so I'm not going to review each one of these individual books. That's my vengeance. I just got done watching Batman on HBO Max. So yeah, I am vengeance. By the way, another thing that irritates me in general about comics are glossy covers because they're so difficult to actually photograph when you're trying to record because all they want to do is shine the light right back up into the camera. Irritating. That being said, Pirate Queen, as you can see, is a 4-issue miniseries and it's amazing. It's a straight pirate adventure story. There aren't really a whole lot of pirate comics out there, and there sure as heck aren't really that many Pirate Queen comics, to be sure. But the book is by Peter Milligan. It's drawn by Pollina, and it's colored by Tamra Bonvillain. Now, Tamra, by the way, is also currently working on Batman Superman World's Finest. Like I said earlier, that's the best ongoing comic you can buy presently, in my personal opinion, and she is just crushing the colors on that. I've had these books for a while, and I've not ever gotten around to reading them, but when I was reading these, I was struck by how great the colors were, and so I made a point to go back and look, and oh my goodness gracious, it's Tamra Bonvillain. And I just got done reading World's Finest 1 and 2, and I was thinking, man, this color is awesome. This is amazing color work. And lo and behold, I go to read Pirate Queen at long last, and I'm like, wow, this is amazing. These books were each $8, which is fine because of the fact that you've got not just the main story, you've got a backup story, and there are no ads. For a quick synopsis, Pirate Queen follows Monday Ryan, who is a pirate queen. She was born to a pirate, and she was raised by a pirate on the seas. Her mother died in childbirth, and she marries another pirate, and they go about their pirating ways. They get captured by a Royal Navy ship, and they get betrayed by the captain. And let's just say that it sets Monday here on a path of vengeance. Now, one of the things that I like about the story is that it's not just Monday being Monday the entire time, all the way through. She actually does get some character development, and that is very nice because, you know, she's got kind of a one-track mind through most of the book, but she gets to a certain point where she thinks, wow, you know, maybe there's something better I can be doing with my time. And I really appreciate the way they do that. Now, that being said, the ending I think is kind of a bit of a letdown because it kind of goes out of its way to sew up a loose end that doesn't necessarily need to be sewn up, in my personal opinion. I think it kind of would have been better to leave it alone, but you know, it's not my book. So I'm not going to critique a book. It's like John Updike once said, don't critique somebody for not doing something that they weren't intending to do. So they were certainly intending on ending the book the way they did, and Peter does a great job with that. There's no doubt about that. But the story, I would say, is probably a solid 7. It's definitely a book meant for adults. There's a lot of violence in this. There's not really any bad language in it so much. It's just that there's a lot of dark themes that go on and a lot of dark violence that occurs. So, but that being said, it's a beautifully illustrated book. But let me tell you what, the art just takes it to a 10. There is not really art like this that you can find in comics these days. The covers actually indicate the kind of art that you find in the book. I'm pretty sure Milligan is doing all the art, including covers, because it looks identical. If you just look at the line work, it's like these lithographs back from the 18th century. It's just amazing line work. It just evokes a real good atmospheric vibe. Now, I made a tweet earlier today. I said that I wanted to take this opportunity and to state that Pollina and Bonvillain have made basically the greatest imagery of the sea I've ever seen in a comic book. And I stand by that. The art that's in this book looks a lot like Winslow Homer. So if you don't know who Winslow Homer was, he was one of the great masters of the Americas, one of the first ones. And he was famous for painting seascapes. And one of the most famous paintings of his is the Gulf Stream. And so here's the Gulf Stream, and here is in Pirate Queen what looks to be an homage to Winslow Homer's Gulf Stream. So if it's not, they executed it beautifully because it does actually look just like it, and it evokes that kind of loneliness, but just agonizing beauty that can be found out on the ocean. It's just not something that you typically see. The thing that elevates a good illustration of the ocean is when someone can capture the very soul of the weather and the environment And that can be done extremely effectively through color. Now, Tamra, I've never heard of her before World's Finest in this book, but I'm actually going to go out of my way to start looking up her work because she is a phenomenal colorist. As you can see, each one of these covers is very different in their coloring approaches, but they're the same in how they are executed on a quality level. The quality that you get, it's not just, oh, I'm going to drop brown in here. She is literally going through and it's like she's shimmering the art through here. It's almost like sorcery, to be perfectly honest with you. I mean, look at the little highlights against the water here. This is the flashing of the cannon against certain aspects of the water. You wouldn't normally think to do that, but she understands how light works and she understands how to evoke a mood. And there is nothing quite like this out there, period. So that's really the book. Pirate Queen, 4-issue miniseries. If you love adventure, if you love swashbuckling, and you like violence, this is your book. One thing that I would like to address, though, is that in a lot of period stuff that we see these days that comes out, whether it's TV shows or movies or books or comic books, we have characters who seem to act like they were plucked out of the 21st century and dropped in these time frames, and then they have all these same values that people in the 21st century have. And that just kind of seems weird and out of place. So there is some of that in this book. I'm not going to sit here and say, oh, it's wrong, because, Peter can do what he wants to do. It's his book. But I think if you want to make the purest story, you want your characters to kind of be of the time that they're in. So I think that Monday Ryan, she kind of has a little bit of that. I'm pretty progressive, way progressive for the time. Of course, she is a pirate queen. So, it can kind of go along with the territory, but it's just something that kind of stood out to me. It took me out of it a little bit, but that's a minor quibble. Overall, the book, I would say, is a solid 8. So, Bad Idea. Let's talk about Bad Idea for a minute. Things that Bad Idea does are bad ideas. So if you look on the back of each of these books, there's a story that's a bad idea. The back of every Bad Idea book is a story that's a bad idea. So those are some fun things. Also, when you buy these books, and by the way, you can probably find them in Bad Idea locations. A lot of them are still on the shelves because people kind of lost interest in Bad Idea stuff. I'm sure a lot of shops will sell these as a package or a bundle, and you could probably get a good deal on it. One of my favorite Easter eggs that they have is like these little coded messages in the copyright. So if you flip the page over on the book, like right here, you're going to see like a little copyright thing here, and you'll see these little fun little coded comments. So that's something that's a lot of fun to read and part of the fun of any kind of Bad Idea book. So again, the story is amazing. All 4 books are fantastic. The art is definitely a 10. And this is one of those things where the art and the coloring go hand in hand. I'd give the coloring an 11 out of 10. It's Pirate Queen. It's by Peter Milligan. It's drawn by Pollina, and it's colored by Tamra Bonvillain. If you like pirates and buccaneers and all that kind of swashbuckling stuff, this is the book for you. Once again, thanks for watching Comics with Drew. I'm Drew, and I'll catch you next time.